Groove is largely defined by your understanding of rhythm and time, while the concept of feel is defined by your understanding of stylistic variation. Sit tight because I've got a great exercise that's coming up that's going to improve your groove exponentially. So a great exercise to work on is what's called rhythmic displacement. What I'm going to do is take an eighth note pattern and play it in two different ways. The first very short or staccato, and then holding the notes longer or tenuto. Then I'm going to displace that pattern by 1/16th note. The pattern is now going to be falling on the E and the Ah of every beat, which is the second and fourth 16th note of every quarter note. Now, what's really interesting is how the short articulation, when displaced, results in straight 16th notes, while the long articulation represents the same pattern, but this time with ties. So watch closely as I demonstrate this drill, and then I'll be right back for the breakdown. Okay, so let's go ahead and unpack this exercise and see what's going on. I'm using a 2-octave Dorian scale to play this, so let me show you the fingering before we get started. Now, if I apply the short or staccato articulation to this, and bearing in mind that I need to be aware of what the rhythmic subdivision that I'm playing, so I need to be thinking about eighth notes against the pulse, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now, notice that I'm counting out loud. This is super important so you can sort of get a bond between the pulse and the subdivision as you're playing. Now, this is something that we do in order so we can not count further on down the line. You know, a lot of guys think, oh, I'm going to go on stage and count. No, you're not. You're going to do this so you can learn how to feel these rhythms. This is a training methodology to do this, but you must try this and get it to the point where you're counting out loud, where you can hear yourself count. If you're whispering or barely, the count is barely audible, it's not going to work for you. Now, when I apply the long duration, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. So what's really important in all of this at this stage is to be super aware of how many bars that you're actually playing. So I don't know if you figured out how many bars that is just instinctively, but many won't know. It's a 4-bar pattern that I'm playing there, and I have to understand that because one of the biggest things where people are practicing exercises and then trying to apply what they've practiced in the exercise to actual music, which is always based on a tune. It's always based on some kind of a tune, and all tunes have forms that you have to adhere to. If you have a 12-bar blues, you have to adhere to that form. If you have a 16-bar form, you have to adhere to that. If you have a 32-bar standard, you have to adhere to that. If it's just a 1-bar vamp that's going on, there's still going to be some type of form in the way that it's phrased, either in 4 or 8-bar phrases before you're moving to something else. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to be stuffed when you try to apply this to a musical context because you won't be able to do it. And this is one of the missing links in music education, certainly with bass players, because this comes up all the time. So be super aware of the pulse. You have to be aware of what the rhythmic subdivision is that you're playing, and then you have to be aware of how many bars it is or the form of what you're playing while you're practicing. If we then take it to the 16th note displacement, this is what it's going to sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3, 4. If we then go to play the long duration or the tenuto, I've got this 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3, 4. So what's so cool about this idea is that once you kind of put this together, I mean, this specific exercise is great to really get inside of your whole concept of grooving. It really does. It's a great exercise to do as a warm-up, just so you can kind of feel your rhythm and time a little bit better. So what I want you to do with this is learn this and then start taking it through the different keys. Now you can do this in various different forms. You could do it like I did it, where I played the 8th note short, followed by the 8th notes long, followed by the 16th note displacement short, followed by the 16th note displacement long. Or you could go 8th note short to 16th note displacements to short to 8th note displacements long to 16th note displacements long. And then you can kind of put that together where you're transitioning from key to key in time. The ultimate goal is to do it through all 12 keys without stopping, but being hyper aware of the form that you're actually playing through. So you understand each key is 4 bars. So you've got that 4 times 12 that you're sort of integrating into your muscle memory so you can understand form from the micro and all the way to the macro. So as I said, this is a great exercise to really get more closely connected with the aspects of your own rhythm and time. Now you go try it. The key elements to improvisation are rhythm, melody, and harmony. Now, what I've found over the years as a teacher is that roughly 97% of all the bass players I've taught are unaware of what they're playing rhythmically. Most of it just seems to be left to chance with very little understanding of where the pulse is, what subdivisions are being played, how many bars are being played, or how to manipulate the rhythmic phrases to create interest and more connection to the music that they're playing. Working on the exercises like the one in this video will enable you to get inside of your groove potential and almost instantaneously position yourself to level up your bass skills. Until next time, practice smart, work hard, and play creatively.